reading. Before we begin the conversation, I just want to say I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book. It's an easy and delightful read, about 170 pages, and it's yet packed with such rich information that it almost feels like a travel guidebook, a cultural map, and a memoir all in one. The pictures also, which are included in the end, add so much charm and authenticity. They make the journey feel personal and vivid. With that, we'd like to dive into some questions. I have a few questions. I want to know, in your book, which is filled with such detail of cultural observations and anecdotes, how did you manage to collect all this information across countries? Was it through journaling, conversations, or just living the experience?
I would say it was living the experience because I don't maintain a diary, and wherever I go, I just take a notepad and just make a note of something I find interesting. I'll make a note of it, and that was before the pre-mobile era. But once I got the mobile, yeah, you have the mobile, and then you just click pictures and. But I have this. I love to visit museums. Wherever I go, the first thing is I go visit a museum, and then you get authentic information from museums. And I buy the museum book, and I love to go to the museums and see what I can find. You need a keen observation when you go to the museum. Need some patience and the Islamic Art Museum in KL. I recently had visited, and there was this section called caping. There was beetle leaf shaped metal. It was made of metal. It was shaped like a beetle leaf, and then they said it's called Arai Mudi or Aruda Mudi, and it came from Tamil Nadu. And the Kelantan royal family used it as a covering for the children's modesty. They used to use that. So I don't know if we find that in Indian museums here, but I found it there. And then the very next exhibit, I found a pair of padukas. It was mentioned padukas, what are the saints and rishis use, made of ivory. So you don't know how long it's going to be there, but then I quickly clicked the picture. I would have included it here, but there were a lot of I had limitations on the picture, so I couldn't include. So talking of museums, there was this in 2018 I visited Srinagar, and like my driver was like, cab driver said, "Madam, kaha le jana hai? Pehle kaha jayenge?" I said, "Srinagar Museum," and he had a hearty laugh. He said, नहीं सभी लोग दाल लेक देखने जाते हैं. We want to go to the museum. So I said, हाँ जाएंगे, दाल लेक भी जाएंगे, but let's go to the museum. I was really impressed with the kind of statues, dating back to 280, much before that. They were from Afghanistan, and this lot of Buddha statues of Buddha and Shiva and Vishnu. It's amazing, amazing. So I just have the pictures, and maybe in the future I have that whatever museums I have visited, maybe all the pictures I can collate and bring it out in the form of a book. So museums have been my authentic source of information. And then talking to people. Like if I go to a market, if there is no language barrier, I just cut a conversation and speak with the people there and get to know. So yeah, that has helped writing this book.
So your book also has a very striking cover. Could you tell us the story behind this design and what inspired the choice of the colors and the imagery?
Yeah, colors was basically like colors, red, green, and everything in between. So initially, the title I planned was China, India, and everything in between, like the two civilizations, and then the Southeast Asian countries. So then I said, no, it will be I don't know whether it will be proper to mention the countries, and the Southeast Asian countries may not like being called. We are in between. We are unique in our own way. Why these two giants? They basically historically these have been two giants, and they may not like that. So then I said, okay, let me stick to the colors. So red representing the China, green the Malaysia, and all the rest of the colors India. So the book was like, this is the lion dance, the mask, they wear, and lion dancers during Chinese New Year. Yeah, they go from house to, they are invited basically. The houses and shops and establishments invite them, and they are supposed to bring in good luck. And then they give them fruits and monetary that and uh, money and gifts. And, similarly, we have tiger dances. Like in Karnataka, we call it Hulivesha. Like in South Canada, where we basically come from, we call it Pilivesha. During the Janmashtami, they go from house to house. Similarly. So I found a striking resemblance between the two customs. So they go dance and it's the they drive the evil away. They're supposed to drive evil away. So I found the traditions very similar. And then this is the tiffin carrier. It's there in all the Asian households. So they carry a lot of memories. And there in Malaysia we have the painted ones. They call it timber. And all the sweets and during festivals they all the sweets are stored in it and then they are gifted. And even when the girls get married, it's given as a gift. So the slightly expensive ones made of copper, brass, or ceramic. And then we have the Diwali lamps, the oil lamps, and the Malays also have. They keep it in hollow bamboo, the oil lamps for Ramadan. So they also have a similar tradition. And then, as I already mentioned, this is the shadow puppetry, the Wayang Kulit. It's called the Wayang Kulit, made of leather. And the stories of mostly Ramayana. So there are characters like the Rama, Sita, Hanuman, Ravana. And then they have folk tales too. But it is, you can see in any museum you go, you can see this picture. And then we have the mountain, Kailash. So it's a sacred mountain for the Jains, Buddhists, monks, Tibetans, Hindus, and so for me it was I had to immerse my dad's ashes, so that I had a purpose. But then after visiting Manasa Sarovar, I could have returned back. I was like exhausted and lot of I said but after having gone there, something pushes you. Say, oh, you've come this far, you can go a little further. So I don't think it was faith or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it pushed me to going there, and it was really peaceful.
I have one question, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, why did you decide to go at that place?
Which place?
The place,
Manas. Yeah. See, actually, when my dad passed away, my town is very next door to Tungabhadra River. It's a very important, the Hampe is on the banks of Tungabhadra River. So many did, they joked, they said, why do you can just go and immerse the ashes there? Why do you have to carry it all the way to Shanghai? And it was very difficult, the copper, and I was scared the customs would say, you can't carry it in your carry bag, you have to check it in. And I didn't, have the guts to check it in. And what if it goes missing? So somehow I managed to carry changing planes and all that. I managed to carry there. But there was this. I think there was this guilt that I haven't done enough for him. There was this guilt, and I had told him I'll go to Shanghai and then I'll go. Those days we didn't have WhatsApp and the Skype. I told him, yeah, I'll go there and I'll call you, on WhatsApp, and we can speak and I'll show you all this, And I believe he had told his he never traveled outside our town. He was always in the town. He never liked traveling anywhere. Always there and attending to the people who came from all the neighboring villages. So I believe he told his patients and all that. Oh, my daughter, she's gone to that country, knows China, and he started explaining. And then from there she will call, and I can see her. It was something like he couldn't even imagine there was something like this, and he could. So I didn't. I was very busy with so I've written that in the book, and busy with my unpacking and those rats in the house and all that issues. I said, okay, I'll call him, and by then he was gone. So maybe I had that guilt in me that I haven't done enough. I promised I'd call and I didn't even have the time to call it. And that probably is thought, okay, at least, let me take him. It's the toughest journey. They say you can't make it to Kailash that easily, the Manasar. So I said, okay, at least let me take him there and live him, which is supposed to be the most holiest place for us. So at least let go of him there. Yes.
So, no questions, but some comments. I think so it's very well written, especially for us. We were there 10 years back, and some of the memories just flashed by, as you said, correct? Some of the mentions, what you mentioned about number 4.
Yes.
Correct. I think so. First time also for us, we were shocked that there is no number 4.
Yes.
4th floor, correct?
Correct. Yeah, China elevators. Yeah.
And then the wrench and run high.
Yes.
Just pass through the memories. It's such a nice experience and very well put down. I think so. You have captured it very well.
Yeah.
So would love to read it because we'll be part of that.
Right. You would relate to it
Absolutely.
much better because the Chinese sentences, the words,
Exactly.
people who have lived there would relate. Yeah, for you it will be a new experience, but I'm sure it's very simple. So there's nothing, no complicated words, and we'd love reading it. But we are similar in many ways. Both Indians and Chinese, we are very similar when it comes to food, especially. They are also very particular about their food. They carry their migoran and this and that whenever they go abroad. They carry all their stuff, like how we, some of us carry our stuff, wherever ready to eat and all that. They also do that. And then they go to places and then they boil and the kettles and all spoil, and if it comes in international media, it is the biggest shame. It is losing face. They call it losing face. So many things. We are very similar in many ways. So I brought out all the similarities, and then even in Malaysia, and they're very friendly. If you get to know them, they are very friendly, very helpful. So that's what I have even in Shanghai I had a good Chinese friend, even in Malaysia I have a very good Chinese friend. So I always feel like, if you can get along, if people to people we can get along, why not the countries? Because throughout history I believe we have never gone to war. China and India have always had a cordial relationship except the 1962 with the war. Yeah, that was it. Otherwise we've always been, friends. So I think I always felt that we can be friendly. So it looks like we are heading towards that. Hopefully this will continue for some more time.
Who did the artwork, the cover page?
Yeah, this was actually my son who did it.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'd like to say the publisher who Brindarika Bose, she lives in Switzerland, and she has this Bose Creative Publications. She does it for a social cause. So she picks and chooses the authors who can write it for her, who can volunteer to write. So everything is voluntary. The book I have written, so I don't get paid anything. So I have done it for a social cause, and the proceeds from the book will go to small-time charity organizations. And so my son agreed to. I asked him, because without his, we need the youngsters to help us in many ways, because since it was a voluntary thing and she's not paying for any of the work that's done. So I requested him, and then he agreed to do it. It was, and even the foreword was written by Sandhya Vasudev. She also did it voluntarily, and she's done a very good job. So just read the foreword and you'll know what the book is all about. So in summer, she has summarized the entire book in the foreword, and she's done a very good job. So it was all voluntary work, and the proceeds, yeah.
I wanted to ask you how many. It's a beautiful read, and I'm looking forward to reading it.
Thank you.
Bringing the 3 countries together and everything in between. Yeah, it really makes us feel that there is so much similarity in every human being. You got it out in Asia and all, but I'm sure people who travel overseas and so many countries. You'll feel it and it's lovely. I want to know how many years back did you think of, writing this book? Has it been in your mind forever?
No, actually, it hasn't been in my mind. I used to, I travel everywhere and post on Facebook, all these pictures and all this. Just keep posting, and then there are a few people, putting that. Then my brother-in-law, actually, I believe he told my sister, why is she wasting all putting these lovely pictures on Facebook? So she can as well, write about it. Yeah. So that was the seed that was, sown. I just then thought, probably I can write it so that it will reach a wider audience. And that's how I started, I just, all the travel. Yes.
Writing a memoir is like, revisiting the moments, visiting back again while you're writing. So, a lot of times it works like catharsis. So, was it like a catharsis to you, or was it a closure? What was it?
Yeah, it was a catharsis. Some of the topics like my growing up years. I grew up in that small town, and I remember the first time I came to Mumbai. Looking at the skyscrapers, I was like zapped. I said, my God, wish I could, live in one of these, one fine day. So then it so happened that few years later, after I got married, we lived in Lokhandwala, the movie tower, 11th floor. That was the highest. Then I thought, oh, that is it. I'm living in the sky. And then we moved, and then Shanghai, I ended up living on the 56th floor. So that was I was like 49. First was 49, and then we shifted because of that number and all that. So when it came for the renewal, the house came for renewal, I went on the 56th floor. So then, it is like, whatever I would have experienced in my days, and I always felt, my cousins living in cities, they're so lucky. They have the best of everything, especially Mumbai. Mumbai, the chapati and all, when I would go, I would feel that. But then, it comes, it comes. So I was really, like, as you said, it was a catharsis. And with my father's case, it was a closure. Writing this, it was a real closure. Closure, yeah. Vimana Sasarana, I just went back again. I said, yeah, that's it. I moved on, and he's up there somewhere, Because later on, during COVID, they were not allowed to go. I said I was one of the lucky few who could visit the place. This was in 2014. But now again, China has opened its borders and you can still visit. But I believe now you are not supposed to enter the lake. They don't allow you to step into the lake. But I was fortunate enough, I just went to the middle of the lake and just let go of his ashes.
If there are no other questions, I'd like to conclude. So, for anyone who's interested in getting the copy of this book, it's offline available at the Fictionary Store with the author's signature on it, and online you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Flipkart, or Poti.com, and it's also digitally available on Kindle. So, if everyone would just join me to thank the author one last time for sharing her wonderful stories with us today. And yeah.